Hi everyone, Leanne here from Jaded Blossom, and it's time for our Black Friday mini release. And I'm showing you the Build a Gingerbread Man stamp set. And I'm going to show you how I went ahead and layered this adorable stamp set using my Misty and Altenew inks here. So I'm starting out with my Altenew ink called Mocha. And I'll be stamping that using, like I said, my Misty onto paper tray ink white cardstock. And, you want to find some inks that, layer nicely. So like some, lighter brown, darker brown, stuff like that. Altenew inks are great because they come in packages of 4. So you get like 4, different shades of the same color. So there we are. I'm just going ahead and I'm stamping this gingerbread man twice, just so I get a nice sharp image on my paper tray ink white cardstock. There we go. And I'm using my little dry eraser. That was a Jennifer McGuire tip. There we are. And how cute is that? It's just so cute. Now these are really easy to layer and, set up, but you'd probably want to use a stamp positioner or Misty or something like that. So now I'm getting ready to add in my next color, which is espresso. And I'm using a piece of acetate just to see if I've got the stamp lined up correctly. I don't want to wreck my stamped image. So I'm stamping it onto the acetate and it looks pretty good. So now I'm going to go ahead and I'll be stamping it onto the white paper. So I'm just going to add my espresso ink from Altenew, and I'll do that twice. So this is an adorable little gingerbread release from Jaded Blossom, perfect for Christmas. It's just adorable. The design team has some adorable stuff to show you, like I said, and you'll have lots of inspiration. There we go. So now I've got my second layer on. And how cute is that? Like super cute, right? So I'll add, like I said, each color I stamp it twice just because I want a nice, solid, clean image. There we go. So that's my second layer. And the color dries back a little bit like all inks. And how cute is that? It's adorable. There we go. So now I'm pulling out my other stamp positioner just because, I have all the stamps lined up. I'm using VersaFine Onyx Black ink to now stamp the outline. Now, if you wanted to just color this gingerbread man, go for it. You could use the outline and the faces and, go to town. But I decided I would show you how this looks layered up. So now, like I said, I added in my outline. I stamp it twice with the VersaFine Onyx. And then I'll be stamping on the adorable little face that goes with this too. Isn't that cute? Okay, so now I've got the little face. I'm going to line that up. And I'll be stamping that also. You see I put a little piece of acetate. I didn't want to get ink onto my card that I'm stamping. I didn't want to move the stamps. There we go. Because I do stamp it twice because I make 2 cards today. I'm just showing you the one. So I do stamp, like I said, each stamp I ink twice. There we go. So now I'm doing a boo-boo, or I'm not doing a boo-boo. I'm doing something I'm not supposed to do. I'm adding a Copic marker in R29 to the tongue area when I did not use a Copic friendly ink. Now, if you do this, be very, very careful. I just dabbed it on the tongue. I didn't touch the black at all because, you can make a mess when it's not Copic friendly. So now I'm stamping on the buttons, and I'm using Altenew's Aqualicious. It's super cute. Stamp it twice. And now I'm adding on the layer, which is kind of some shadowing on the buttons, and that is in Teal Cave from Altenew. And like I said, stamp each image twice, so I get a nice image. And then I'll be adding on the outlines for the buttons. And I'll also use the VersaFine Onyx Black for that. There we go. Now, I try to get it lined up as perfect as I can, but it doesn't have to be perfect because it looks a little cute. It looks cute even if it's a little bit off. So don't worry about it. It's a homemade card after all. So there we are. Isn't that cute? So now I'm using the Kawaii Gingerbread set and the Stitched Square and the Scallop Square dies. And I'm going to be making 2 cards for you today. Also using Milk and Cookies from Doodlebug, the Dot Stripe, and the gingham linen in Rainbow Petite Prints. So number 1, I did one image where I cut it out, and I'll be running a Tuxedo Black Memento marker around the edge. And the other one, I left it flat and I cut it out with the Stitch Square die. There we are. So I did fussy cutting today, even though I say I hate it, I do. But this was easy to cut out. So now I'm using a Post-it note as my masking, and I, stamped the outline, cut it right on the line, lined it up. Now I'm going to be using the lightest of those teal inks. It's called Dewdrop from Altenew. And I'm just adding some in the center of the blank stitch square, and then I'll be putting some on the one that has the stamped gingerbread man on it with the mask. Basically what I'm going for is I'm just giving a little oomph to my background. There we are. So now you'll see I have already cut out a few gumdrops. That's from the Kawaii gingerbread set. And I'll show you here. So I cut some out. I have some stamped on those scraps of those pattern papers that I showed you. Now I'm stamping directly onto the background. It gives a place for your fussy cut little gumdrops to go. And it gives like a nice sharp outline in case you don't cut so perfectly like me. It doesn't matter that they overlap because they'll be covered with the pattern paper. So there we are. So I'm just stamping them in place, as you can see. I'll also do it on the other card as well. But I'm going to show you how I just fussy cut out one. So you want to cut on the line, leaving a little bit of black. I'm using my EK Success little scissors. And see how fast and easy it is? Like super fast. And I run a tuxedo black marker around the edge of that too. So now I'm going to be stamping my gumdrops again onto this background. Now you'll notice that the gumdrops will end up in front of one gingerbread man, the one that's flat to the card, and the other gumdrops will be behind my popped up gingerbread man on the other card. And you can decide which one you like better. Just two ways of doing something. They both look cute. And it's like, 2 cards for one, right? There we are. So now I freehand stamped a couple things. I'm going to run that tuxedo black memento marker around the edges of my fussy cutting just to make sure it looks perfect. Because trust me, I don't cut perfectly. I never do. So this kind of just, makes things look like they are. It's a good little fudge. So there we are. So now I'm going to be applying those pattern papers to my background. And see how, it's just super easy peasy. There we are. I'm using my EK Success reverse tweezers just to get my fingers out of the way. I like using Zig two-way glue when I'm doing paper piecing because, you don't want any pools of glue behind your paper piecing because it can get kind of wrinkly looking and not so nice. Also, glue can kind of glob out, and that certainly doesn't look nice either. So I think that the Zig two-way glue pen just works better when you're doing this paper piecing. So there we are. Isn't that cute? Now I'm going to do my other one. I'm peeling off the mask and look how perfect that looks. It's perfect. Now I'm going to put my gumdrops on top of this little guy. So he's kind of peeking out behind the gumdrops. So it's a little bit different. But they both look very similar. I tend to like cards with more dimension. So for me, I kind of prefer the one with the gingerbread that's popped up. But they both look super cute. There we are. So now I'm adding my other gumdrop on. The nice thing about paper piecing is you can use your scraps, which is nice. That's what I did when it came to the gumdrops. Because like I said, those are my favorite pattern papers and I use them so much that I'm always running out of the colors that I like. So I actually have to go buy some more of that 6-inch Rainbow Petite prints in the gingham linen. It's just my favorite. There we are. So now I'm using Gingerbread & Co. And I got out the sentiment and I'm going to quickly create these cards. So those are 4.25 by 4.25 vertical fold cards made of paper tray ink white cardstock. And now I cut a piece of this pattern paper from the Doodlebugs Milk and Cookies, and I cut it 1/8 of an inch smaller, and I cut it corner to corner. So you have 2 triangles, and I'm putting it in the lower left-hand side of the card. Now, I did this because I didn't have 2 sheets. I only had 1 sheet. So, but I wanted that pattern on there. So that's what I did. And you just want to line up the 2 sides. And I'm using my Nuvo glue here. And like I said, easy peasy. I'll just pop that down on the card. Now, it costs more to mail square cards. So if you put them in normal envelopes, like rectangle envelopes, it doesn't cost any more. It's just the same. So, you know, keep that in mind. That's what I do. And there we go. So there is that. So now I have my my scalloped square dies cut out of pattern paper from that same pad, Milk and Cookies from Doodlebug. And now I'm going to line up that one in the center. That's going to frame out my white stitch square. And I did that for both cards. So I'm just adding my Nuvo glue to both. And like I said, super fast and easy. Isn't that cute? Yeah, you gotta love these patterns from Doodlebug. They're just adorable. There we go. So now I'm going to be popping up the white squares with my 3M foam tape. So like I said in the past, I always use the 3M foam tape when it's a larger area that I'm popping up. It's just more economical, better coverage. And I use Stampin' Up! Dimensionals for smaller items. So there we go. So I'm going to line that sucker up, and oh, look at, I've got a little bit sticking out. You don't want that, so I'll trim that off. And I'll use my EK Success tweezers. Oh, no, I am actually going without them. So we'll put that down. And there we go. So that image just popped up. That's my flat one. And then now I'm going to put down the one that will have some dimension. And I'll be popping up the little gingerbread man. So I use one piece of the 3M foam tape, and then I nestle in some Stampin' Up! Dimensionals around it, just so, you know, you get nice coverage and, you know, no dips and blips in your final image. There we go. So this is an adorable little set, perfect for Christmas, like I said. The design team will have some adorable stuff over on the Jaded Blossom blog today for you. We're having stuff, so we're showing designs today, tomorrow, and the next day. And so there'll be lots of inspiration. So now I'm using the mini tag dies and the little bread tag die from that one. And I cut it out of the gingham linen in that aqua, and out of white cardstock. And I'll be stamping my sentiment, which I cut into pieces actually, onto the front of it. Just freehand stamping with the VersaFine Onyx Black ink. And that way I could stack my sentiment. That all came from the Gingerbread Baking Co. stamp set. And it says, have a sweet Christmas. There we are. So I do stamp that twice because I have to make 2 of those. And that is that. So like I said, super cute and easy peasy. So now I'm going to layer those with some white paper tray ink white cardstock, just because it gives it a little bit more stiffness. And if I'm going to pop something up on the front of my card, I want to make sure that it's not flimsy and, you know, gets all kind of dippy in the mail. So I tend to, you know, make sure that there's something more solid behind my pattern paper. There we go. But yeah, super, super quick and easy. Like I said, these are, you know, fast projects for Christmas. And you don't want to be spending too much time because you got to get these Christmas cards in the mail, right? Yeah. We're all, you know, under the gun right now, trying to get things done. So now you'll notice that I popped those up with my Stampin' Up! Dimensionals, and I'm just trying to line it up, getting my fingers out of the way a bit with my EK Success reverse tweezers. And look how cute that is. Now I'm going to be adding some Trinity Stamps chocolate chip clay heart mix. And I'm just using my Nuvo glue, and I'll add 3 of them. And they look like little gingerbread hearts. And so that's why I decided to use them on this card. So thanks so much for stopping by and checking out what I had for you today. I'll be taping another video for tomorrow, so you got to come back tomorrow and see what I have, and make sure to check out the Jaded Blossom blog to see what the design team has for you. If you love your gingerbread, or you like the look of it anyway, you're going to want to get these sets. They are so sweet. Thank you so much for stopping by, everyone, and hopefully we'll see you tomorrow. Bye-bye.